So Tim, who's your favorite supplements company?
I know it's hard to tell, but I'm that guy that got sponsored and just didn't know how to act about it. I'm like a Trevor Wallace video come to life. Bucked Up, baby. Bucked Up is our first official sponsor. They make excellent products. We got some pre-workout here. We got some BCAAs, got some pump. This giant ass thing next to my head is protein, which is delicious. And
the size of your head.
No, it's amazingly. I do have a big head. For those of you who have not seen the YouTube, I have a fucking huge head. Bucked Up was kind enough to find a hat that could A, fit my head, and B, send me this protein thing that's 3 times the size of my head. So
yeah, and for our audio only listeners, Tim currently is wearing. All right, so we got a Bucked Up hat, we got a Bucked Up shirt, we got Bucked Up Heat, we've got Bucked Up BCAAs, and Bucked Up meal replacement, and a Bucked Up pump. So, he's not wasting any time. Neither should you guys. The code is capital T, capital A, capital N, capital D, capital T, 20. That's TANDT 20. Tim,
Summer is coming, y'all.
Summer is coming.
Get these Bucked Up products. Let's all be looking fantastic at the beach this summer. And code TANDT 20, TANDT 20.
And you can even get a hat to cover up your bald head like Tim is. Thank you so much. Buy some Bucked Up. It's great.
The Tim and Tony podcast is brought to you by Tidal. Tony. Tony.
Yeah.
Hang on. Don't stop jumping the gun on me. Don't jump the gun on me. Tony, please tell the good people about why we love Tidal so much, other than the fact that they sponsor the podcast.
Well, so the fact that they sponsor us definitely helps. But here's the thing. The most important part of it is that they make good shit. This shirt that I'm wearing right now, for all the YouTube people that are watching, not only does it look cool, it is extremely comfortable. It is one of the most comfortable shirts. If not, you know what? No, I'm going to say it. Hot take here. It's the most comfortable shirt I've ever worn in my life. And I tell you what, I want like 9 more of them. So Tidal, if you're listening, I need some more because it is absolutely fantastic. They also make a very comfortable hoodie. Get their logo in there right there. It is awesome. It's very soft. I wear it to bed sometimes. But yeah, the shirt's fantastic. They got a lot of good stuff. Their shorts are great. And yeah, I've heard, obviously don't know, but I've heard that a lot of their women's stuff is very comfortable as well. And I'm going to take their word for it because I trust the women that I've heard that from. So, I mean, Tidal's just great and it's affordable. Like that's one of the main reasons why we signed up with them is that they don't charge, $97 for a pair of socks. It's great. And, I think you guys should try it. And here's the thing, Tim, the most exciting part of this whole thing is that we can get you guys a discount. It's going to be TANDT 15. That's TANDT 15, all capitalized, except for the numbers, because obviously that's not a thing. So capital T, capital A, capital N, capital D, capital T, 15. You should do that right now because here's the thing. The hoodies are great. The shirts are great. The shorts are great. Everything that they are selling is fantastic. So you need to try it and you need to use that promo code. It's only going to help you. So Tim, in this movie that we're about to talk about, there's Jennifer Garner and Kevin Costner, and they're together-ish, and then find out that they're having a kid. Name another couple that would make a more attractive child than a child made from Kevin Costner and Jennifer Garner's genes.
Just attractive, they don't have to be like smart.
No, God no.
Okay, so I mean, if I was just gonna make the perfect attractive child,
you're right.
You'd probably take like Summer Rae and Channing Tatum and just kind of breed them to make just like the perfect looking kid.
Nice.
But yeah, no, I'm with you. That kid's gonna have a lot of talent.
Yeah.
I'm kind of jealous of it.
And then we'll introduce you in a second. But Q, you got an idea?
My first comment, honestly, is like I'm surprised that I didn't know Kevin Costner was like supposedly like a good-looking guy. I did not know that that was one of
that's a hot take. I love it.
Yeah,
Kevin Costner, is he attractive?
I think it's a hot take, honestly, but I think he's a decent actor. But
a decent actor. Oh, this is gonna be great. This is gonna be great.
Yeah, my actor, my takes about movies aren't as probably profound as you guys, but
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that like any woman over 40, if Kevin Costner like so much as winked at them, they would be gone.
Yeah,
their husband would never see them again.
My mom would be gone in a heartbeat.
Gone.
Or Harrison Ford today. Gone.
Yeah.
Gone in a heartbeat. So, anyways.
I'll keep Jennifer Garner in there just because I can't think of anyone else, but I'm throwing Brad Pitt in there. I think you're making a dynamic duo right there.
That's a good bet. That's because I mean
Bradley Cooper too.
Bradley Cooper would be a solid one. See, I was gonna say we already have the couple and we already have the kids. We got Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds.
Oh yeah,
they're already playing this out.
Those kids are like super soldiers. Yeah, you're kind of right.
Yeah. So, anyways, since we're gonna have to wait a couple years to see the next coming of Steve Rogers, Elvis Monroe, please play us in.
In a crowded room.
So Tim, what movie are we doing today?
Much to your chagrin, Tony. I was inspired watching the NFL draft.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was thinking to myself, what movie would perfectly encapsulate my viewing experience right now and the amount of joy that I have watching Mac Jones fall to the Patriots and seeing how they try to justify it.
I enjoyed it too.
Best thing. Yeah. So we're doing draft day, you pancake eating motherfuckers. We're doing draft day. It's one of the most flawed. I mean, most sports movies are flawed.
Not like this. Not like this.
They've all got a couple things wrong with them. I mean, Kevin Costner being the world's worst GM is this movie's flaw, clearly.
Jennifer Garner, cap expert, also basically Kevin Costner's assistant.
Yeah. To just get into like how flawed this movie may be, it was made for $25 million, which is one of the more expensive movies we've done to date. It made $29 million at the box office, which, that's an investment. That's an increase on your capital. I'd like to have $4 million extra dollars.
I don't know. How long did it take to make the movie? Because I feel like there could have been like some inflation costs there.
Well, we're not talking about like Dogecoin or something here. It's just
it's
a safe return. It's a safe return on investment, Tony.
That's fair.
The movie actually originally centered around the Bills, which I think somehow would have made this movie worse. Although if you did the Bills, you could have had a more Trump-like character as their owner, since he was still trying to buy them.
Yeah.
At that point.
I do think that with what the script was, it was perfect for the Browns, because one of the first things that's said is, I believe when they're in Seattle, they're like thinking about giving up the first pick and all that stuff. And then they're trying to think who's desperate. And then don't mention it, just flash Cleveland, Ohio, show their stadium. Just there it is. The lake that catches fire. Let's go to Cleveland. They're going to be desperate enough. That's perfect. If you're trying to find the most desperate team in the NFL, it's just always going to be the Browns.
I can agree with that. The thing that doesn't really match up is that they were supposed to have them trade with the Jets for the number 1 pick, which would have like added the that extra element of realism to it, that the Browns and Jets are both doing something stupid on draft night. Trading back and forth with each other. That actually, I'm sad that didn't work out and they had to use the Seahawks.
Yeah, that's a bummer because I mean the Patriots aren't like there's some teams that are very obviously not in the movie. And the Jets, if it's going to be a draft type of situation, the Jets you need to include them because they're going to be perpetually in the top 10 picks of the draft for probably our entire lives.
Right. And one last thing, I did a solid, like usually, I spend a good 15 minutes researching our movies. This one, I spent a couple hours looking for nuggets. There really wasn't a lot to find.
Much like the script, there's just not much there.
Not a lot written about this movie. But the only other interesting thing is the movie was originally rated R.
Whoa!
For the pancake eating motherfucker. Yeah, for pancake eating motherfuckers and give me my goddamn picks back.
And I want David goddamn Putney.
That's right. They didn't change a single thing.
Whoa.
All they did was petition the ratings board to get it down to PG-13. Same movie.
See, I feel like if this is if a rated R version of Draft Day, we're seeing a lot more closet scenes. We're seeing a lot more scenes with Jennifer Garner and Kevin Costner.
Yeah, I was trying to think because they kept the same movie, but if they really wanted to go for it, that scene where those idiots are talking about how many girls he probably sleeps with on average, that probably could have been a little bit further if you wanted to.
You cut to one of them happening, or we don't just see the morning after of Jennifer Garner and Kevin Costner at his like house that looks like an office.
And I lied. There's one more interesting thing.
Okay.
Daryl Morey famously hates this movie. Absolutely.
Oh, that's fantastic. That's great.
He tweeted out after seeing it, finally saw Draft Day. Costner is Ted Stepien level of bad as GM. Actual Browns did much better. # Johnny Football. For those of you who don't know,
nice.
Ted Stepien was so incompetent that there's a rule named after his incompetence in the NBA that you cannot trade first round picks in multiple years, which makes playing 2K very difficult sometimes.
Yeah, but that just gets turned off. Like if you're an adult, you just get turned off. You turn that off so then you can actually make a run for the 1986 Michael Jordan draft year.
But the reason that we have Q on.
Yes.
We brought Q on because I'm always putting out stuff. Send me your favorite movie to come on and do for the podcast. Most times I get sarcastic responses. A lot of you shitheads send me Godzilla versus Kong. I see you. Stop doing it.
Are we gonna do that movie at some point?
No.
No, we're not gonna step into the MonsterVerse.
No, because that requires me to spend multiple hours prepping for something that I just have no interest in. And Q, his sarcastic response was Draft Day, which I appreciate.
Oh yeah.
Which by the way, welcome to the podcast, Q.
I appreciate it.
And for the listeners, do we want to use your full name or do we just want to use Q?
If you guys know my first name and you guys can say it, I feel like ever since I've known you guys, it's been it's just Q. You guys just call me Q.
I feel like I know it, but I'm also too embarrassed to say it because I don't want to be wrong.
Yeah. So it's I actually think it might have been you, Tony, or Tim, when we met, years back.
Yeah.
That, for the first few weeks, you actually admitted to not knowing my first name just because it was.
I had no idea because if you remember, we only had the last names on our jerseys because you and I met, was it like 12U baseball or something?
Yep.
And so, or no, we didn't even have our last names on the jerseys, but all the coach would write on the lineup card was our number. Yeah. And so unless it was said, I would have no idea what the name was. And someone yelled out Alex. And I'm like, I don't have a fucking Alex here. And then you're like sitting right next to me, like, that's my name. I'm like, oh, so wait, what does Q come from? Well, my last name starts with a Q. There we go. Yep. So yeah. Yep. So anyways, so for everyone listening, Q's an old friend of ours. And then Tim ended up coming onto that team as well sometime later. We were awful.
In short, Tony's always been a dumbass.
Yeah. And you know what?
So that story.
And you know what? I have a podcast so that I let everybody know that I'm an idiot. So,
yeah. So I think just, going back to, why I responded to your Instagram to him about draft day is I remember when that movie came out, I was hyped about it. You know, I'm a huge draft head. I was probably a bigger draft head back in whatever year that movie came out. Must have been, 2014, 2015?
I have 2015 in my head. I have.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember we used to debate, Matt Barkley versus Geno Smith, classic debates like that.
And,
which,
and everyone was wrong.
Absolutely. GMs are wrong all the time. I mean, Matt Leinart is still supposed to be the Cardinals franchise quarterback right now.
Yeah, we're still waiting on that.
Yeah. So is Josh Rosen. So, it's just one of I actually rewatched the movie on Friday night because that was I actually did not remember a lot of the details behind the movie besides every single trade is absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, just absolutely insanity.
Yeah. So I rewatched it with my girlfriend who does not know a lick about football. And that was a very interesting experience because she, of course, enjoyed the movie. Had no idea the ramifications of any of these trades. She's just she's like, this is fantastic. I'm like getting so heated. Like, why are you reacting this way? She's like, it's just a movie. I'm like, it's not just a movie. It's not just NFL draft. It's a culture. There's a culture behind it.
I had this exact same conversation because I watched a movie with my mom and dad who aren't super into like NFL draft stuff. And they're like, why do you hate this movie so much? That was fine. Like, that was a good time. Like, I enjoyed seeing it. I'm like, but none of that would actually happen. And they're like, well, would Field of Dreams actually happen? Okay. The purpose of Field of Dreams and other sports movies is different from this one.
There's the word dreams in the title. It's not meant to be a realistic thing. Draft day, it's made to be a realistic thing. And they made a lot of efforts to be as realistic as possible, having as many teams in there as they could, having the commissioner of football there, filming at an actual draft. Like, they did a lot of stuff to try and make it seem like it was real. And then they decide to do the most coked out trades ever.
Yeah, I mean, the most unrealistic part of this movie is when Goodell comes out and they're all cheering.
And they cheer him. That
Makes
was one
no
of,
sense.
I wrote it as a note in all caps, boo Goodell. Like, if you want it to be realistic, you want him to come out and just get demolished. But of course, since it's a movie, he was probably like, yeah, I'm not going to let that happen. And then they cheer him. And it's the one, it's even beyond the trades. That's the number one thing that took me out of the movie.
So going back to the beginning, here's my first question.
Yes.
That's never really resolved. Arian Foster, who I forget his character's name, but Arian Foster in this movie.
Ray Jennings.
Right. Allegedly assaulted a child and landed him in the hospital. And we get that at the beginning, right? Where Dion's like, he had a minor skirmish where he put a kid in the hospital. I'm like, what? Like, and then later on, he's like, no, that wasn't a kid. And that's like the whole explanation that we get on this.
That's it. That's the whole thing.
Like, that seems pretty pertinent to whether or not you're going to draft this guy, whether he's going to be in jail or not for beating the shit out of some kid.
Well, I don't want to defend him. I mean, the storyline, that whole character is just absolutely awful. Didn't he say he was like 17 and he was like 21? Like, that was it wasn't like a 10-year-old kid that he beat the shit out of, was it?
No. It was just technically a kid. But he did go to the hospital, which seems like a bad thing.
Yeah. But he's a running back. You guys forget the fact he's a great running back. You got to take him. You got to take him top 10.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm trying.
Tyreek Hill's still on a team, guys. Kareem Hunt's still on a team. Ray Rice almost made it back. Like,
Oh, I'm not saying it's not realistic. I just thought it was interesting, one, that Arian Foster agreed to play that type of character.
Yeah.
and that two, there was just no other explanation other than, he probably beat the shit out of somebody. We're still going to draft him top 10. Like, they could have gone a little bit deeper with that.
And we're going to have it be like a heartfelt story that he gets drafted by his father's team and all this stuff. Like, he's going to be the emotional support of this entire movie. The guy that beat the shit out of someone.
That was the most realistic part of the whole movie, is that they still didn't even care. Everything else.
The least realistic part, though, is that they don't have any tragic stories for any of the draft picks. Like, they don't have some. Yeah, so this guy actually doesn't have a family anymore. They all died in a horrific car accident and he's actually been an emancipated minor since the age of 13. And, he's worked in the coal mines this whole time while also training and doing like, it's that kind of shit. That would have been great. But
I don't know what you're talking about, Tony. Nobody came to Bo Callahan's 21st birthday. None of his teammates came. That made me sad.
Or was there like police fraud going on and they just decided not to put their names down?
Which actually, as explanations go, Sam
Elliott
kind of had a good one there. I almost kind of believed it. Try to. So this is the trope of sports movies that involve GMs. It happens in Moneyball too. The GM that's sitting there listening to shitheads on sports radio,
yes,
talking about how he should be fired. Famously, GMs try not to listen to any of this stuff because it's intentionally supposed to be clickbaity.
Yeah, which again, welcome to the Tim and Tony podcast.
Yeah. Thank you very much. But I just couldn't. That trope needs to die. That doesn't really happen. I thought it was funny when he saw the fire, whatever his character's name is, on the back of the truck.
That was great.
But the listening to sports, like listening to like the Gambadoro types in Arizona, or listening to these shithead like sports talk radio people, that's not happening.
Just listening to the Rob Parkers of the world.
The owner does. The owner listens to that stuff.
Absolutely.
Which we're going to have a whole nice little 15 minutes on the owner, because that was probably my favorite part of the whole movie, was how much of a dick he is.
Just phenomenal. But real quick, because at the beginning of the movie, the Seahawks are talking, and this is a quote: "Our fans know a good deal when they see one." Is there a single fan base, guys, that we actually think knows a good deal when they see it in football? Because there's a couple fan bases in baseball that I actually think are pretty smart. Like the St. Louis Cardinal fans are very intelligent. Like, and we know a couple of them, but like Seahawks fans, no. That's not it.
And also,
absolutely not.
It wasn't even this, they get this wrong. They didn't just trade, because he says 3 picks in the next 3 years. They also give them number 7.
Yes.
So like they don't really make a big enough deal about that.
So it's really 4 firsts.
Yes, it's 4 firsts.
4? I think it's 7 plus 2 additional firsts. I don't fact check me on that. I don't.
Yeah, so it's ambiguous because the way that they say it is the next 3 firsts.
No, because
so that might be including this year's, or they're saying it's a pick swap as well as the next 3. I don't know.
Yeah. Right. And I mean, trading back to get the guy you can get, or trading up to get the guy you can get at 15.
Just absolutely asinine. Just asinine. And he's carrying around a piece of paper saying Vontae Mack no matter what. It's like, if it's Vontae Mack no matter what, then why are you trading up for the first pick? That doesn't make any sense.
Boseman looks terrific in this movie, though.
Oh,
I'm not gonna lie. He looks really good.
He looks fantastic. And I remembered that he was in the movie, but I forgot that he was in the movie this much. And that early on, he pops up like, oh, this is cool. Like he's the
brass knuckles.
The brass knuckle phone case. That's
what the fuck was that?
It was a choice, and I can't imagine that was his actual phone case. Because like there's moments like that in every movie where it just happens to be like something that the actor owns that just gets into the movie. I find it very hard to believe that Chadwick Boseman has a brass knuckles phone case. That might be the case. But so that means that was a decision by the props guy or the director or someone decided, because that's not just sitting around. Like you go and get that or make it.
I kind of want one.
I low-key
looked it up.
That's pretty hard. I kind of like that.
Yeah, I was looking it up after. I was like, it'd be kind of badass. Just pulling it out.
So then we get to Kevin Costner's house, where we see Jennifer Garner is leaving. Very upset, but we don't know why, and we find out later. She gets into her car. She gets into a Camaro.
Yeah, I was going to talk about this. Yeah.
Now, anyone can drive whatever car they want. So this isn't me saying that women shouldn't be driving Camaros.
Oh my God.
This is me saying there is no way in God's green earth Jennifer Garner at any point in her life, except for this movie, has driven a Camaro. There is no chance. She's driving a luxury car. She's driving, a Mercedes, a BMW or something like that. She has taste.
And she revved the engine.
Yeah.
As she turned it on. The Jennifer Garner character, I dislike so strongly because it's the classic I'm not like the other girls type character.
Yeah.
She's like, I am Cleveland and I am football. Who the fuck wrote that? Who wrote that and then saw it and was like, perfect. Cut that. We're putting that in.
Like, there were some moments that made me think it was a cross between George Lucas and Quentin Tarantino writing the dialogue in this movie. Because not only is it bad dialogue, but then the women in the movie, the two women in the movie don't talk like intelligent women. They talk like what meatheads would think that women would talk like.
Yeah, and they drive Camaros like meatheads.
Yeah, and they not only do they drive Camaros, but they drive them like shitheads.
To be fair, though, are any of the men in this movie? Did any of them show any ounce of intelligence whatsoever either? I mean, I think everyone in this movie is they're just complete.
I think William. That's a good point. You were gonna say, Tim?
I was just gonna say, I think William Dafoe is probably fired middle season. That guy's not making it. The coach that he hires, that guy is a shithead.
Not Willem Dafoe.
Wait, who the fuck is it?
Dennis Leary.
Dennis Leary. My bad. What the? I don't even know what I'm talking. I don't even know what movie I'm watching.
Did you watch the movie?
Yeah.
Or are you thinking of The Lighthouse, Tim?
I did. No. I did. Unfortunately, watch it. He's definitely fired. That guy's an idiot.
Yes.
he comes in and just sets a fire in his office to show he's upset.
Yeah.
What is going on in this world?
So, by the way, speaking of someone who's not doing a great job, so we mentioned that we see Chadwick Boseman. So I don't know about you guys. Q, you're our draft expert, so maybe you can have some insight into this. Yeah. Where the hell is Chadwick Boseman's agent? Because I'm pretty sure players aren't just cold calling GMs of teams the morning of the draft and harassing them about if they're going to get picked or not. We don't see his agent until an hour into the movie.
Well, I think that's part of the reason why he got drafted #1 overall. I think he's
a go-getter.
That's the type of guy that the Cleveland Browns needed, apparently.
He's showing moxie.
Worked out for him. But yeah, that's absolutely absurd. Of course, that's never happening. You need your P. Diddy agent, handling all your calls.
Diddy as an agent was just
incredible.
Perfect. And he's bad at it. He basically tells them no, everything's cool. This happens. This is the NFL draft. What the hell did you expect to happen?
Yeah.
I mean, obviously I expect to go #1. Everybody's saying I'm going to go #1.
Yeah. So
can we talk about the Brian Drew character
in a second? So
my bad. Sorry. There's a lag on my end. I apologize.
Yeah, no. Just in a second. So then we cut back to the Seahawks. The Seahawks are hoping to capitalize on Kevin Costner being distraught because his dad just died. They're saying, he's desperate. Plus, his dad just died, so he's probably looking to make a splash. They're complete and utter assholes. In real life, this would be John Schneider. By all accounts, he's actually a good guy, at least from what I've heard. If I'm wrong, I'm perfectly fine being wrong. But from everything I've heard, he seems like a good guy. But holy shit. They're targeting this guy because he's mourning.
I buy that part of it.
I do, but it's just awful.
Yeah, but I don't buy his explanation as to why he didn't tell people why he fired his dad.
Yeah.
He's like, that's just not his explanation is that's not how we do it in my family. What the
Yeah,
fuck
they don't
does that-
communicate.
Like, if you fired your father, that would be the number one story on every news network. You would have to tell them why you did it. It couldn't just be like, oh, things didn't work out and people would be cool with it.
And further poor communication in that family. Why the hell is the ex-wife still there? Why?
I hate that so much.
In his office right after the will reading.
Just talking shit.
Yeah. Good luck. You can leave. Get the fuck out of my office. Who let her in here? Does she still have her pass from when we were married? Revoke that pass. Come on. Get my guy some privacy. It's draft day. You're just letting the ex-wife into his office before he's about to make the first overall pick?
And even she knows that he's sleeping with Jennifer Garner.
Let's give my guy some privacy. Maybe not
too obvious.
Yeah.
Like, he claims to be like super stoic. I don't show emotions ever, but like the whole fucking office knows that you're sleeping with salary cap.
Yeah, with your cap expert, who also does a million other things, like disciplines your scouts.
Yeah.
Like she plays office manager as well as cap expert. Anyways, so the one thing that I do think that they hit right on the head is the GM and coach dynamic in an unhealthy, in say a Cleveland Browns organization. Do we think that Kevin Costner and Dennis Leary actually hate each other? Because it seems like there's some tension there. It seems like there's some Bill Murray Groundhog Day shit going on behind the scenes. Because it seemed like on the screen that they actually hated each other.
I think that Dennis Leary doesn't like a lot of people.
Yeah.
Dennis Leary does not strike me as someone who's very happy in life.
Are you saying he might have a little bit of John Voight syndrome?
He just, every character he plays is pissed off and angry. It's just kind of, it has to be something intrinsic about who he actually is, that he's just this asshole that nobody can stand.
So we get all that, and then we make the trade. And then we have a very, very pissed off quarterback. Now, I know you wanted to get to Brian Drew, Tim, but Q, just as our draft expert, because again, we had you on because you wanted to talk about the movie and because you're the only one out of the three of us that really gets into this stuff. What was your read on Brian Drew? Obviously, he wasn't in the draft, but what was your read on Brian Drew? And do you think that you can win with that quarterback?
So when I think of Brian Drew, I just immediately equate him to Alex Smith in the current NFL.
Ooh.
That's kind of what I think about him.
Ooh.
He's an injured quarterback, has had some success in the past, but is like well past his prime, hasn't really shown much in the playoffs.
Right.
And if, let's say the Redskin or the Washington football team.
Don't worry, we'll bleep that out.
Appreciate that. If the Washington football team had a top 5 pick and they traded up for the best quarterback since Andrew Luck, I feel like Alex Smith would understand the reason behind that.
Yeah.
And so, I don't think it's super realistic, but he's throwing the ball 15 yards further than he ever has before. So I think, who knows?
So
I want to know what this dude was benching beforehand, because allegedly the strength coach is like got on the bench, and apparently he's putting 250 on, which is a very hard weight to actually get on the bar. That's not like an actual.
You need a lot of some 2.5s laying around to get to that. But yeah,
I was gonna say very weird weight to just pick. He's doing 250 just 25 times. Boom, boom, boom. I'm like, I looked it up. Okay, fucking Cam Newton allegedly can't bench 225 more than like 15 times. That motherfucker.
So Brian Drew is like Tim Tebow baseball size.
He's just a monster, apparently.
Wow.
And
it doesn't look like it at all.
Boom.
He's just put up
unbelievable.
Maybe he started using some bucked up supplements and was wearing some title workout clothes, and maybe he was just getting right. Maybe he was using the promo code TANDT20 for bucked up and TANDT15 for some title stuff. Who knows? Tim?
I was gonna say steroids, but yeah, it could be bucked up.
Could be bucked up because bucked up works great. But maybe he was on some Mark Gray, Sammy Sosa shit. Who knows? Because 250.
Also,
his description, that's throwing it around.
Yeah, and his description of his own resume is pathetic. When he's yelling at Costner in the locker room, he's like, "I've been here 8 years. I made the playoffs." I'm like, "Wow, that sounds terrible. You've been here 8 years. You made the playoffs one time. And I can't believe you made it 8 years."
It is in Cleveland though, but we get the best Kevin Costner line of the whole movie. After Brian Drew pours his heart out, is just upset as all hell, talking about his career, talking about his family. Quote, "Don't bother me with your shit, Brian."
I'm working here.
So delivered with just absolute deftness. Kevin Costner delivers that line better than anybody delivers any line in the movie. It is phenomenal. Just I could not give less of a fuck, Brian. Get out of here. I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do.
Okay. We've gone long enough on this. I have to mention this. He trades 3 first-round picks for the first pick and then wants to do the homework on the pick.
Yeah, and then like, okay, now that we just have the first pick, now that we have it, we have 20 minutes. Guys, let's look into Bo Callahan. Let's have the PI. Let's send him out. Let's what do we actually think about him? No,
I hated that so much.
No, you don't.
On top of that, he didn't even know if he could afford to trade up for the first overall pick. He had to ask, "Can we even do this?" I know there's a salary cap in the NFL. Can we do this? I already made the trade. It's already official.
Just hey, Jennifer Garner, will this work? And then, well, this would change this to that. So would it work? Let me look into it. Wait, you know exactly what?
No idea.
You would know the exact different salary slot for each pick. You know that cold.
How about when you
don't know your own cap situation relative to that difference? All right.
How about when he walked in just carrying a football from his truck?
Oh, that's like fantastic.
So relatable.
Yeah. Just coming into the building, flipping a football.
What
the hell is this?
The only other better use of a football to like have an emotional weight to it is in Hell or High Water when they're in the backyard and the kid plays football, so he's holding a football. Like it's just that's the only other time that I think I've seen a football used in a more just on the nose, but just perfect way. Kevin Costner, yeah, he just walks around with a football. Like you got to know, you always got to be ready because he just throws it at a moment's notice.
Absolutely.
So another thing about this GM that makes me very, very angry is the fact that he just delegates every single one of his responsibilities off to other people. He's like, it's not my job to know what a salary cap is. It's not my job to scout the picks that I'm going to make. My scout team needs to deal with that. I know they spent 12 months studying every single one of these guys, but it's not my responsibility.
And by the way, what front office is hiring an intern and have his first day as draft day? Like,
great question.
Like, yeah. Oh, I know. We're going to have you start right in the middle of the off season and on one of the most important days of our franchise. We're going to have that as your first day. And you're going to be the assistant to the GM. You're going to be fielding calls for him. And then the GM's going to break your laptop.
He took calls from Adam Schefter. First day as an intern. Yeah, Adam just gave me a call. He wants to know what's going on. That's not what Adam Schefter's doing.
And I mean, Brian Drew's insult game needs a little bit of work because he allegedly told the intern to go have intercourse with his mother. I've never heard somebody say that. That's a weird fucking thing to say, just in general.
Yeah, like, and what was the actual insult? Like, go fuck your mom?
Yeah, like, exactly. I was like, no, that's the weirdest thing I've ever heard. Thanks, though.
Or maybe he called him a motherfucker. I don't know. But
that would have made sense.
Yeah. It's just, yeah. But again, it's not the greatest dialogue ever written. I think they were trying to be cute with that. But yeah, it's just, it's disappointing. All right. So, Tim, you said you wanted to talk about the owner.
Yeah.
I think it's time because My second favorite quote in the entire movie is delivered by the owner. Sonny, people pay to get wet. What in God's green earth does that fucking mean?
Okay, this guy. First of all, he wears
They're
sunglasses.
at a park bench, and he says, Sonny, people pay to get wet.
This guy is allegedly a billionaire because he owns a string of water parks in Ohio.
Yeah.
That's how he's a
and we get to see one of them. And it looks like a freaking like one of the like little pads in the middle of a mall that just has like a couple spouts.
It looked like a public fucking park. And he had him come out there in the middle of his workday to his water park that's empty. There's nobody there.
To deliver the Oscar-winning line.
Yeah, draft day's in April. It's pretty hot in late April. Like, there should be people at that park if he's doing so well with water in the water park game.
Yeah.
I mean, when he gets out of the car and they all just mercilessly boo him as he's waving to them.
Yeah.
Oh
my God.
I personally enjoyed the hell out of it.
Yes.
And then he has the quote, defense doesn't make a splash.
No.
While they're sitting at the water park.
Yeah. So we got people pay to get wet and doesn't make a splash. Like, and I'm sure that's how, like, if you're a billionaire who made all your money off of water parks, I'm sure you walk around just making those puns so that people remember that you're rich. Like, I'm sure that's the level of sense of humor that these people have. I've never met one of these people, so I wouldn't know. I'm not, bumping shoulders with billionaires, so I don't know. But I'd imagine they've got corny ass senses of humor like that.
Also, he 100% fired this guy after they lost their first game, fucking Ryan McDonough style.
Absolutely.
Like, the second they lost a game, that owner is firing Costner's ass, and for good cause, because he has absolutely no idea what he's doing. And I love how the announcers at the end are like, just shrewd moves by Costner. This is his team now. I'm like, what?
Just incredible. I mean, so they do all those moves. Then, but before they make the first pick, like we were talking about earlier, we're talking about the whole, all right, now let's scout the guy. I did want to mention, because we talked about how none of the teammates went to his 21st. And then the whole, allegedly. Is there potential, and Tim, you're going to love this, is there potential that, Bo Callahan has some Ted Cruz vibes? Because here's the thing. What if everyone just hates him?
It's not Ted Cruz.
No.
He gives me major Zach Wilson vibes. When I saw him, I was like, he's just a bigger Zach Wilson. Like, whoever this actor is probably in better shape to play football than Zach Wilson is.
Yeah.
But no, he gave me the exact same feeling.
Do you think Bo Callahan freaks out being around people of African-American descent as much as Zach Wilson does, as we saw when they were all lined up?
I think that he just gives me the vibe like Zach Wilson, where like Zach Wilson's his uncle is like the founder of JetBlue, and then his parents are also like crazy.
Really?
Yeah, like he's crazy rich.
Wow.
He gave me those kind of vibes where it was like very much a trust fund kid. Had a pretty easy life to this point. Allegedly has intercourse with several women every day, which I guess. I mean, good for him.
That picture of Zach Wilson that that is taken at the like public bathroom mirror that became a meme is just perfect.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be a disaster. You're gonna have to stop me from like maxing out my credit card on the Jets under this year, but that's a whole separate issue. You're gonna have to stop me though, Tony. You're gonna have to just randomly text me during the day.
So Q, what was your read on Zach Wilson? And do you think that it's a good comparison to Bo Callahan?
I actually never thought about that.
Okay.
I didn't know Zach Wilson was that rich. That actually makes me think he's not going to be very successful as an NFL quarterback. But I actually think Bo Callahan is going to end up being an MVP in the NFL just based on how everyone believed this kid was the best player since Andrew Luck. All these people are saying those people don't miss. So
like Andrew Luck.
And
Andrew Luck didn't miss either, in my opinion. I mean, but
did Jameis Winston miss? Did Marcus Mariota miss?
yeah, but look, the craziest thing is like that game that he allegedly decides to take Vontae Mack. He's like, oh, he has a bad next play, but he threw for 4 fucking touchdowns and won the entire game. Like, why don't you watch the rest of the game instead of?
He's got weak knees, Tim. He's got weak knees.
It wasn't weak knees. It was like he's scared of Vontae or something.
No. Brian Drew has weak knees.
Brian Drew has weak knees, but he can allegedly squat like 500 pounds now.
Yeah. He's just a brick shit house, but he has weak knees.
He's on the Kobe shit.
So I don't know if you guys remember the draft order, but when I was rewatching it, I actually, I noticed the Cardinals had the 4th pick in the draft, and I was just, crossing my fingers that we were taking Bo, and we of course drafted some cornerback from Georgia Tech. As if there's ever been a cornerback from Georgia Tech ever.
Yeah, but they could have at least, because even in 2015, it was Bama, Clemson, it was Ohio State. Yep. They could have at least been like, yeah, corner from Bama. It's like, all right. I mean, you probably got a pretty good corner then. Yeah, Georgia Tech.
Congrats to us.
Yeah, just fantastic. And in true Patriots fashion, we're nowhere to be found in the draft because we probably traded down we probably traded our first for like 17 fourths.
You guys are the non-fun team though. So you guys definitely like wrote a letter, do not include us in this very specifically.
Yeah, because Bill Belichick is famously not in any Maddens. Or I think he's in one, but like he's just not in Madden ever. So yeah, I mean it's just depressing. But I will say, so Brian Drew, was it Brian Drew or Bo Callahan that gave so Brian Drew gave the 100 back, right?
Yep.
And Bo Callahan just doesn't. He's the one that just straight up lies about the 100.
Right, but I'm defending that every day of the week because he got. I think that was from like the 5th team, like 5th or 6th team. Might have been from the Browns, a team that he's like, there's no chance these guys are drafting me. Why the hell do I care that they're sending me their playbook? Of course, I'm not reading this. I'm going to go have sex with one of my 3 women today on a Tuesday afternoon. Yeah, so that's what he's worried about. So like, who the hell cares that he's not reading your entire playbook? And notice that was my thought on it.
Yeah. I mean, so I've always thought that those little tests, they're so corny. They're just like, okay, what do they actually prove? Like, okay, let's think about this. If it's say Bo Callahan's family is destitute. Let's say that they're just poorer than poor. Let's say the guy doesn't read the whole playbook, but let's say like he shakes out the book, or throws the book across the room or something, and the 100 comes out. And let's say he uses the 100, but he doesn't want to say that he read the full playbook, or he just doesn't want to get into it. Like, you're really going to use the proof that you lie about a $100 bill as proof that this guy's a bad person? What if he just needs the money? These guys are student athletes. He might just have to put gas in his car. He might have to pay for like his mom's medical bills. I don't freaking know what he's using it for. We're just automatically assuming that he's Jamarcus Russell and he's just a load who doesn't care about anything. Like, that seems like a stretch, and it just seems like so dumb. It seems like such a waste of time. I don't know.
It seems like an NFL thing though.
It does.
Like, these guys are all into the personality test questions that they believe can tell you everything you need to know within 10. I mean, I actually do think it's a pretty big deal that he lied about the $100 bill. I think that's a much bigger deal than the fucking birthday party thing. Like,
and Brian and
Rodgers
gave it back. So
like Rodgers isn't friends with a single person on his team. Like, people hate that guy. I mean, whether or not he's friendly with his teammates, I'd prefer him to be. But
and I mean, but I will say, when's the last time Rodgers, even made a Super Bowl? He's only won one.
I think if you asked the Browns if they would trade places with the Packers over the last 12 years since Rodgers came on, they would probably cut off their own dicks to do so.
Mike Vrabel style.
Yes. They would actually castrate themselves to have the 12 years the Packers have had. But I get your point.
Yeah. Anyways, so moving forward in the movie, we get one of the more emotional scenes in the movie. Kevin Costner's mom and ex-wife, after the will reading, come and they want to spread the ashes today. They want to do it right the F now on draft day, 20 minutes before they make the first pick. And they're acting like Kevin Costner's character has the gall to say not today.
Right. He's the asshole.
He's the piece of shit. Not his mom for bringing the ex-wife along with her. Not for that. And then the mom, oh yeah, Amy, Amy, you need to leave. It's like, Mom, it's Allie. Like, stop being a jerk. Stop being an asshole about this.
I don't like that, Mom.
That moment is awful. And then we get the Kevin Costner line, "This was supposed to be my season." They're trying to be emotional at times that it just doesn't work, doesn't connect. Did it connect with you guys?
I don't think you have to connect emotionally to a movie about the NFL draft. How much emotion do you really need?
But they tried. That's my problem. Whether it's a good movie or not is not hinging on the fact of whether you're emotionally invested in this family. But they put it in there and took up a lot of the movie doing it. Did it work for you?
So
no,
absolutely not.
I think what they were trying to have is like the moment in Moneyball where she sings the song in the guitar shop,
which is incredible. It's incredible.
Which is a really, really good 5 minutes.
Yeah.
This was not that. This movie ended up. What's so funny about this movie is that scene. They allegedly were making this movie for people who like football because that's why they went through the trouble of actually getting the licenses to use the names. They ended up making a movie exclusively for people who do not like football, who would hear that story and they would get emotional about it. And meanwhile, the rest of us like, what the fuck is going on here?
Yeah,
absolutely.
I don't care about any of this. This is so weird. I'm sorry your dad died. I don't know why we're spreading his ashes today. Seems like it could wait a day.
So we
have do it the day before.
Yeah. So we have this conversation with the ex-wife there. I can't say that enough, and I can't say how just absurd that is. But the ex-wife's just hanging around. He throws his assistant's laptop across the room, and then Kevin Costner's apology is, "Sorry, kid, I've been stepping on my dick all day." Which, by the way, is the only line in the movie that I think was improv by Kevin Costner. And they're just like, "Oh, that's gold. That's just gold. It's perfect." Because I believe that's 100% what Kevin Costner would say in that situation.
And that's what he's been doing.
And it's accurate. Yeah.
Yeah. And then the assistant actually gets mad at him, which I think is funny because that kid showed absolutely no backbone.
Character building, man.
Yeah, no backbone whatsoever. And all of a sudden he's mad at his boss when even I, who I feel like I'm not a total pussy, would just be like, yeah, no, it's fine. You'll buy me a new one. I'll be all right. Thanks for apologizing. Yeah. Instead he gets mad at him.
Yeah. Okay. So Q. Does this strike you as a good, and we kind of already touched on it, but I just want to beat a dead horse here.
Please do.
So you trade up to get a guy that you could get at your original pick, who they said that if the Browns don't take you, you might fall to the late teens. So this doesn't sound like a guy that's, not a lot of teams are very high on him. So you trade up to get a guy that you could get at your original pick, and you pay more for him because, you pay more at that salary slot than you do at the lower one. So you basically traded 3 second rounders for the first pick, essentially, because then they make the second trade, they get all their picks back and David goddamn Putney. Like this trade, at least in my opinion, it ends up being okay because you end up trading 3 seconds to move up 6 slots. So many things could have gone bad. Many things could have gone bad. What's your read on it?
So my read on it is, I think we need to talk a little bit about the Jaguars GM and how much of
bitch he is.
Fucking loser he is. How in the world do you get to like one of the 32 NFL GM jobs in the NFL, and then you just have absolutely no backbone whatsoever, no confidence whatsoever? You're just like,
what should I do, Sonny? Tell me what to do, man. Come on, throw me a bone.
Unbelievable.
Made me so angry. And of course, it's the Jaguars. The Jaguars and the Browns are the two biggest like jokes in the NFL, and of course, they make fun of them in the movie as well. Right. So I think this, like you said, Tony, this could have gone absolutely awful for the Browns if the Jaguars were just not dumb and just taking Bo Callahan, and then the Browns would have been screwed taking a linebacker and giving up 3 first-round picks for him.
By the way, they arguably could have traded down 4. Yep. Like the movie makes you believe that, yeah, they could probably trade down to like the 13th pick and still get him. Like it
absurd.
It's incredible. Well, it's incredible.
Yeah, I mean, the only evidence we have is that was the Texans at 15. We're looking into him.
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah.
And like, by the way, getting taken 15th, that's pretty fucking good for a middle linebacker. That's pretty solid.
Yeah, they make it seem like he's going to be impoverished.
Like, oh my God.
If he goes 15 versus 1.
What the fuck, guys? It's like, yeah, well, maybe Chadwick, it's because you're cold calling GMs and pissing them off and then tweeting about it. Like, come on, man. Like, it's not quite Laramie Tunsil, but, you know, it's approaching Laramie Tunsil level. Like, hey, how about you just do nothing on draft day and you'll do better?
Forgot about that whole story. How that was such a controversy over him smoking weed on draft day.
Yeah. So then we make the second trade. They try to do all this like the art of the deal, the art of war bullshit. But there's like all these like inspirational quotes in Costner's office and shit. Yeah. So we got all that. They're trying to do something that just doesn't work. They're trying to say like this Kevin Costner's like, you know, Machiavellian, like operating with the fucking strings and all this shit. So all that happens. They end up getting Vontae Mack, Ray Jennings, David goddamn Putney. We get all that. Now Browns fans are excited. Does any fan base in the real world chant Super Bowl as like a verb or something? Or are the Cleveland fans just so used to not being excited for shit, they just don't know how to handle it?
That was absolutely brutal. That
Super Bowl. No one does that. No one does that.
Instead of doing the dog pound chant, which would have actually made sense.
Or anything else. Just like Sonny, like someone's name. I don't know, but not.
By the
Super
way,
Bowl.
They were like booing the pick of Vontae Mack, and then when he comes out, they're like, "Yeah!" Like, let's go. I'm like, "What? Yeah, you guys!" Like 2 seconds ago, we're all pissed off about this.
Now they're happy, and you know now the child beater is also on their team. They're elated about that. It's just great, and
so weird.
And a special teams guy. They traded for, you know, white Devin Hester, apparently.
Yeah. I mean, if you think about the positions in the NFL that don't really matter and are easily replaceable, it's inside linebacker and running back.
And kick returner.
Yep.
And that's changing the entire face of their team.
Job.
They're keeping the quarterback who now benches 250, who reps 250, who's definitely getting piss tested, like instantly. Like the news that shit comes out, he is getting tested all the time. But
I need a sequel.
Yeah. So then we get the explanation as to why Jennifer Garner's character has been, you know, had a simmering frustration with Kevin Costner. He didn't react correctly to her telling him that she's pregnant.
Oh yeah.
And that, you know, now the mom's cool with her. Now it's Allie, not Amy.
For some reason, nothing really happened
Yeah.
other than it's just the end of the movie, and now we have to have this.
now we're gonna try and have a heartfelt moment between Kevin Costner and Jennifer Garner. So again, whenever there's a couple in a movie, Tim, I have to ask, do they work out?
Here's the thing. At Costner's age, if he's really been single until he's like 60,
yeah,
kind of a red flag.
Yeah,
small red flag. I don't know how he reacted. That we never really get into that.
We don't.
I'm assuming it was something like brush it off, it's draft day.
Yeah, or okay, we'll I don't want a kid, so I'll get the credit card ready.
Could have been something like that.
Might have been something like that.
There wasn't even the like, well, now our coworkers are gonna know for sure type of thing. None of that, which I found problematic. I think at this stage, Garner's probably a little out of Costner's league, maybe a little bit.
Oh, just like sorry. Yes, Gardner's out of Costner's league. That's for sure. Yes.
Yeah, just a little bit. So I think he's reaching a little bit there.
But she is football and she is Cleveland. So they're a match made in heaven.
I'm a Cleveland girl and I am football. I'm like,
yeah.
Who the fuck wrote that? That is one of the worst lines I've ever heard uttered in a movie.
Straight out of American Graffiti. Just straight out of American Graffiti.
It was so awkward. I hated it. I'm gonna say no.
No.
I'm gonna say it doesn't work because his mom hates her, first of all. Yeah. Which is never a good sign, even if it's unjustified.
Only now called her the right name.
Yeah, that can't be good. I don't think any of this is good.
Seems like a Pete Weber type of mom dad relationship with the kid.
Seems like he's kind of got his balls like this a little.
Yeah,
a little bit. Yeah, no, for sure.
I'm guessing Q, you don't watch The Bachelor, so you don't.
I wasn't following that last thing, but
that's fine. But so, do you think the relationship lasts, you?
I think it does. I mean, if you're an NFL GM and you find somebody that loves football as much as that, and they look like Jennifer Garner, I feel like you're going to hold on to that.
And drives an SS Camaro.
Yeah, exactly.
Doesn't seem like the stereotypical woman. So Tim, who would you want to be in this movie?
I mean, I think if you've ever watched sports, you've always had the dream of it would be fun to be a GM of a team. I don't want to be Costner though.
No, that looks miserable.
He's so unsure of himself and he has horrible people working under him and above him and all around him. It doesn't seem really good.
Yeah.
I think I'd like to be Vontae Mack.
Damn it. Yeah.
Because I mean, he gets the #1 overall pick money. And he seems like a good dude. He seems like he's going to have a good career. He's Chadwick Boseman.
And he's Chadwick Boseman. So, he's got money, fame, good looks. He's got the whole thing. So, yeah. Q?
I'm Bo Callahan 100%. No hesitation.
Bo Callahan. I like it.
He's going to make hundreds of millions of dollars in his career.
In Seattle.
Yeah. Not a bad life. Best quarterback, best player in the draft. I'm taking Bo.
I like it. So yeah, I'm gonna do Vontae Mack just because I Jesus. So just for everyone, there's sometimes when Tim doesn't want to say something on the pod that's just awful, so he messages it to me. He just said something horrible, but
10 out of 10.
Just terrible. But that's neither here nor there. So yeah, I would say Vontae Mack. Just it's that's the clear favorite. So Tim, is it time?
It's time for my favorite part of the podcast.
Okay, so Q, I don't know if you've heard. Are you a listener to the pod?
I'm a frequent listener. I don't think I listen to every single one, and I don't know what's about to happen.
So we give out an award. I don't know if you've watched any of these episodes. We give out an award every episode. It's the Ted Cruz Award. It's the Ted Cruz Go Fuck Yourself Award. If you could pick one person in the entire movie to punch right in the face, who would it be and why? Q, do the honors.
Come back to me. You got to go.
Okay, Tim, yeah, no, I'll give you a second. I won't spray it on you. So Tim, you knew it was coming. Who is it?
Yeah, this is a tough movie, and a movie where I want to tell so many people to go fuck themselves.
Yep.
I have the rare opportunity in this movie of having an actual person playing themselves. And so I think that for me, it's got to be Roger Goodell.
Ah, great.
I would
okay.
wholeheartedly love to tell, go fuck yourself in person too. But yes, it's this movie probably is the toughest one because there's a lot of competitors. There's a lot of people that were vying for it the entire movie. A lot of strong contestants.
For me, it's clear. It's the owner.
Well, yeah.
It's the owner. The way that he walks around, the way that he talks, the way that he wears sunglasses indoors. Yep. Now, unless there's some background to the character that we don't know, like he's blind or he's sensitive to sunlight or something, or maybe he just got done with the eye doctor. Who knows?
That's thinking too much.
That's thinking too much. I've now currently thought more about the plot of this movie than the people that wrote the movie, so that's fair.
Yes.
Yes. So let's assume that he's just a douche. I would very much, really, any opportunity that I can take to punch a billionaire. I'm just gonna go ahead and run with it. Now that I know a little bit about him, that he's just a fucking idiot.
Yeah,
absolutely. So yeah, the owner.
That's fair. That's fair. I'm jealous of that one.
Yeah. Q.
I like both of those answers. I'm going to go with the unoriginal pick and just said, main character Sonny Weaver, Sonny Weaver Jr. Just because he's such a moron and has no semblance of an idea how to do his job. So that's the main thing. But also something Tim opened the podcast with his famous line, you pancake eating motherfucker. And I don't understand that line for the life of me, as if someone eating pancakes is like a rare thing, as if everyone doesn't love pancakes.
Okay, Q's getting defensive. So Q, do you like pancakes?
I think pancakes are fine. I'm going French toast first, then pancakes. But how is that a diss to somebody? It's saying that they eat pancakes.
It was so weird.
Everyone loves pancakes.
It could have just been you motherfucker.
Exactly.
It would have landed the exact same way. But he had to talk about what he had for breakfast.
Yeah.
Pancake, you scrambled egg eating son of a bitch.
Yeah, it was like, what? What's happening here?
So, does anyone else have anything to say about this movie? Anything else to say about this movie? Because I don't. I think we're at an hour 15. I think that's enough for this movie. I think it's actually probably a little too much.
The only thing I could say is that they couldn't afford to do a sequel on this one because I think Costner took so much shit for this movie. And I don't think you could afford to put him and Gardner, and obviously Boseman's no longer with us, but I don't think you could afford to get those three caliber of actors together again to do this type of. This was a one-off, and I think clearly the actors who were involved believed in the idea of it enough to do it for.
They were all in.
For, I mean, 25 million is not a lot to make a movie with these caliber of actors in it. So they clearly believed in it and got burned by it. So I don't think that there's enough money in the world to do this again. And I don't think any football fan would actually go see it.
It's just, they were so close. Like they were so close because there's so few sports movies that have this amount of licensing.
Yes.
From the league that they're doing it with, like Major League. They had the Indians, but they don't have any other team. And so I think they get sometimes.
They got the Mariners.
Yeah, they get the Mariners, or a little big league. They've got the Twins and they've got the Mariners, but they don't have the commissioner of the league in the movie playing the role of commissioner of the NFL. Like they don't.
Or Deion Sanders.
Or Deion Sanders, or Chris Berman, that are just there. That are just willing to be on the screen for it. Like it's such a missed opportunity because they could have done some really cool stuff. They had Chadwick Boseman, Kevin Costner, Jennifer Garner, like they had three legitimate actors. Dennis Leary at least used to be a legitimate actor. Like they had legit people in this movie that could have done very good jobs, and just they missed the mark basically at every level. So anyways, Tim, so you picked this movie, correct?
I did. This was a Tim pick. So I know that we're doing Almost Famous eventually with Brian.
Yeah, we're doing Almost Famous with Brian, and I believe that was my pick. So I think then would it be your turn to pick the one after Almost Famous, or should we hold off doing a pick on this one and announce the next movie when we do Almost Famous?
I love that the listeners are getting some insight into how unprepared we are and to how little we actually discuss these things in detail, and how we really are just doing this off the cuff. I mean, somebody weirdly asked me the other day how much of this we script, and I was like, 0.
No,
we single word.
We intentionally, like, even when the few that we've watched at the same time in the same place, we intentionally don't talk about it so that it sounds like a conversation. And you know, we at least have 2 companies that like what they hear. So I mean, hey, and you know, a decent amount of you listening right now or watching, which if you're watching, what's up? But yeah, and if you're watching, you can see, you know, the very obvious shameless product placement that we got going on right now. But yeah, I mean, you know, seems to be trending upwards. So
if I'm picking a movie,
we're doing all right.
If I'm picking a movie,
okay,
I want us to do what was my favorite movie that I saw in 2020. It's a movie that it's a movie very few people saw.
Yeah.
But it is absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
The movie is called Shithouse.
Shithouse, yeah. Okay.
It's on iTunes. You can rent it for like $3. I'm pretty sure you can buy it for $10. It is a very, very insanely good movie that I'm very upset that a lot of people haven't seen, because I think people our age especially would love this movie.
And here's the thing. If we can be the reason for someone watching a good movie, that makes me happy, that they either haven't heard of before or didn't know it was a good movie. It would warm my heart. So, Q, did you have fun?
I did. This was my first podcast, and it's a good time. It's nice to catch up.
We tried to get you on before, when we were, you know, back when we weren't sponsored and we had much shittier technology running. And was it you or was it Scott that dropped off, never to be seen again from the recording?
That was me, unfortunately.
That was you. Okay, yeah. So we have those in the archives, and that's a pod to end all pods, because we knew as soon as you dropped out that we weren't going to be publishing it. Tim and I both said some wild shit, and Scott was visibly uncomfortable during the recording of that, which it was very fun. So yeah, happy to get you on. You're making us look bad with a better mic and just like a better overall camera angle. Like, your setup is just much better than ours, so we're gonna have to step up our game once we get some money rolling in from the pod. So yeah, did you like the movie, Q?
So actually, the second watch that I rewatched it this weekend was not as bad as the first watch, because I had my expectations set a lot lower.
Right.
And, you know, being able to watch it with my girlfriend, who was like, you know, kind of entertained throughout the entire movie. I think to someone who knows nothing about football, it's not that bad of a movie. The production value was great.
Yeah.
The acting wasn't completely awful. The writing obviously was, you know, garbage, but
it's only really highlighted if you understand the football machinations that are happening. If you don't, you're just like, all right, they're just saying a bunch of picks and shit, and they're agreeing, so it couldn't be that terrible.
Right. So, I mean, overall, I don't know what, you know, how critically acclaimed the movie is ever going to be, but it has some entertainment value if you don't care about football. I'll say that.
Yeah. Tim?
Definitely. Yeah, I mean, pretty similar. The people that I watched it with that aren't big football fans enjoyed it. This movie got 65% on Rotten Tomatoes, which is not nothing.
Lord.
I know. Like, this was well received by the public. It was well received. It's got 60% critics, 65% audience score. So it was relatively well received. by people. It's just, if you're a diehard sports fan, you're not going to like it. And that's true with a lot of movies. Ford versus Ferrari was that way for people who like cars and like that whole story. They didn't get into it as much as someone like me who has no idea what's going on was just kind of encapsulated by all of it.
Yeah. Ford v Ferrari it did well in people that like in the car community. It didn't do well in the racing community, which sounds like I'm parsing, but it is like two wildly different things. Like my dad and I, like my dad's a car guy. He's not a racing guy. He doesn't watch NASCAR. He doesn't watch F1. He doesn't watch, races. He and I go to car auctions and shit and stare at the cars, but those are two different things. But yeah, I mean, I hated this movie personally. I very much disliked it.
You watched it by yourself. That was your problem.
I actually watched it with my brother.
Okay.
And it's just it's the writing's awful. They try to do way too many emotional stuff that they didn't earn, and so it doesn't pay off well at all. It's just a waste of time. The trades in it are stupid, and I hate Roger Goodell, so any time that I have to watch him interact with anybody is just going to make me upset. I actively dislike this movie in a pretty aggressive way. So I very much dislike that you made me watch this movie and talk about it for an hour and a half. But it is what it is. Hopefully there was some funny moments in the movie, and hopefully in this podcast. So hopefully everyone enjoyed it. But I think we're done. In that case, Tim, where should people get their supplements from?
There's only one correct answer to this question. You can get Bucked Up. Go online, because if you go in store, you cannot use our coupon code. Somebody had a problem with this past weekend. In order to use the code, you have to go to buckedup.com. You will get 20% off your order. And the code is TNT20. That is TANDT20.
So then where should let's say they go online, they go to buckedup.com, they buy all these supplements, but they also need, they need some workout clothes. What should they do? What should they do then?
Also only one option. See, here's the thing with Tidal, and this is one of the reasons that we really went with them.
Yeah.
There's a lot of companies that we're not going to mention that charge a metric shit ton for gym apparel, gym equipment. And we felt like Tidal was pretty reasonably priced for what they were offering. They've got some cool looking stuff. Got a great logo. It's very comfortable to wear. Tony's wearing his now.
It's absolutely incredible. So obviously I am a sponsor, or I'm an ambassador of theirs. So obviously I'm going to speak highly of their products, but this shirt is incredible. It is one of, if not the most comfortable t-shirt I have ever worn in my life. And for those of you that make the purchase, you will understand. So I have the Tidal Aqua t-shirt. It is incredible. And it's like nice and tight up top, loose on the bottom. So then it makes you feel even more jacked. So it's, it's great. And, then it doesn't make you feel fat because then it's not tight at the bottom. So it's just perfect. It's playing right into my male, lizard brain ego thing. It's well tapered. It's perfect. So, it's great. I can't speak to the women's apparel, but from what I've heard, women love it. So, it's Tidal. That's really the only option that you have. So we also have a promo code for that though, because it's T&T15 to get 15% off the store. And again, it's online. So, wouldn't work in any physical stores. But yeah, so TNT 20, TNT 15 help support the pod. Maybe we can get some mics that are as nice as Q's are. Maybe we'll see. We got some purchases coming up that we might be making. So look out for that. Other than that, thank you guys so much for listening. And of course, Ted Cruz, please, on behalf of America, go fuck yourself. Elvis Monroe, please play us out.
One day, someday, fiction girl. She's my one day, someday. She's my one day, someday. Gotta have her, gonna call her baby. One day, someday. She's gonna call me baby, gonna have a family. someday. Fiction girl, she's my one day someday.